Well, it's a question anyone of a certain age can answer. Where were you on 9/11?
It's been 18 years since the terrorist attack, and for many, the memories of that day are still very clear.
No doubt about it. Our Carlos Diaz was actually living in Manhattan and reported from Ground Zero in the days after, Carlos. And whether you were in New York or here in Indiana, boy, these memories are indelible for millions of people.
Yeah, Ben, I was living in a high-rise in Manhattan that Tuesday morning of 9/11. I saw the second plane go down the Hudson River, take a left-hand turn, and hit the World Trade Center. And then after that, I remember running into the street trying to find a loved one and having F-16s buzz so close to the top of the buildings that you could see the fighter pilots in the buildings, and then going down to Ground Zero for a national news outlet and reporting from Ground Zero just days after. I asked my camera guy on the way down to Ground Zero, what should I expect? He said, Carlos, two things. First off, the smell. You're going to smell death when you step out of the car, and he was right. And the second thing he said, you're going to see New Yorkers acting a way they've never acted before, which is kind and nice, and he was right with that too. People passing out bottles of water and food to everyone that was going by. So on this 18th anniversary of 9/11, I decided to ask Hoosiers, where were you the morning of September 11th, 2001?
I was at Camp Tecumseh in Lafayette with a group of, I think, 4th or 5th graders. I went up there as a field trip mom.
We pretty much watched it all day, like just replaying over and over again, which probably wasn't the best idea in hindsight.
I was teaching at the time at Brownsburg High School, and it came over watching TV. One of the teachers were watching TV and said one of the buildings were hit, and we just thought it was an accident. And when the second one was hit, we knew it wasn't an accident.
There was an eerie feeling around the table. The teachers were quiet, the people that were leading the groups were quiet, and they weren't telling us, and they weren't telling the kids, of course. And then we had to get on the buses early and come home, and we didn't know why until we got on the buses. And then the teachers told us what was going on and that the schools were on lockdown, and so we didn't get to see any of it until we got home.
A lot of people that weren't sure what was going on, they were worried about getting gas for some reason. I remember going during my prep and getting gas and filling the cars up.
But yeah, afterwards I wanted to join the military and, get revenge or try to protect this nation. So
I think I just started crying, but I tried not to at that point. It was more real when we got back to the school and saw that it was locked down and the kids couldn't get out because they didn't know what was going on. Nobody knew what was going on. So it was a very emotional day that day. Still is.
You can tell a very emotional day for a lot of different people, and when you hear those memories, you say, yeah, I had that memory too of people getting gas and people crying and people being emotional. Guys, coming up in 30 minutes, we're here at the Indianapolis 9/11 Memorial downtown on Ohio Street. We've got a major announcement coming up in 30 minutes on some changes to this memorial that's coming up at the top of the hour.